Sculpt Nouveau presents Patina Gel, one of our newest products. In this video, we're going to show you how Patina Gel works and why it might be useful for you. Patina Gel will help take a liquid patina and turn it into gel form, just like we have with the M24 being in a gel form by Birchwood. So here we're going to start with the Black Magic, one of Sculpt Nouveau's most popular patinas, and we're going to make it a gel. Now, the reason you may want to have it in a gel form is traditionally much easier to work on a surface laying flat. But what happens when you need to work on a surface that is vertical? This is where Patina Gel comes in handy. Now we're going to mix this about a 1-to-1 ratio by volume. You can do weight as well, but volume is how we normally do it just for ease. It is important to note that the Patina Gel will change your final finish just a little bit. It seems to be a little bit more noticeable on the cold formulas, such as Tiffany green or light green. It'll change it by a shade or two. But with the Black Magic, a little bit less noticeable. So definitely do a sample before you jump right in and expect them to match side by side. Across the room, probably not noticeable, but always do that sample so you know what you're getting into. So you gotta mix it really well. Here we're trying with a stir stick, and overall, I don't think that it works as well as a drill. So a mechanical mixer, highly recommended. So I'm going to mix this for a minute, and then I'm going to show the camera so you can see how it looks chunky almost. And it almost looks like you mix an oil product into the water-based. But once again, the Patina Gel is a water-based product. You just got to get it mixed up thoroughly enough. And it's not like that it's going to come into a full-on paste like our texture paint or anything like that. It's just going to make it thicker. So I'm going to put a paddle mixer on the end of my drill. And if you've seen our Everclear mixing videos, it's the same kind of drill paddle. You can get them for real cheap over at Home Depot or Lowe's, your local hardware store. And I mix this at a pretty high speed. I really want to get this going. And if you need to, put a top on so you can eliminate splashes. But overall, once you get this thing going, it mixes in really nicely. As you can see, dripping much slower than a traditional Black Magic would have. And we're going to apply this to a clean piece of steel. It's already been sanded and degreased, and we're going to go right on with a Scotch-Brite pad. A lot of people choose to use the liquid Black Magic just like this in the first place, and I know this is not on a vertical surface, but this is just to show you how similar it can be as well. So I just kind of Scotch-Brite it on a little bit, and then we're going to let it react, and I'm going to rinse it. Now I'm going to do this a little bit quicker than I usually do. It's going to be closer to about a minute and a half, whereas I normally let Black Magic go about 3 to 5 minutes. But it is kind of nice that it's not trying to pool really, it's just going with my runs as far as the Scotch-Brite moving around. And you can see it doesn't want to sag that much. It does go a little bit, but it is greatly improved. And I'm going to rinse this, dry it, and then we'll take a look here. So now that Black Magic has been rinsed and dried, we can go straight into the clear guard. Of course, you can keep on doing more coats. You don't have to stop at one coat like I did here, but we're going to use a coat of clear guard to seal it in. And of course, Everclear would work just fine. Wax it, oil, whatever you had planned on doing. It works just like you normally did with liquid Black Magic. Here we have our final piece. And the Black Magic turned out really nice. As you can see, there's not much movement even just for one coat. Now we will use the Tiffany green, and we've mixed this 2-to-1, and so it's a little bit runnier than the Black Magic did. And there's nothing wrong with doing less. You can play with it until your heart's content. I think 1-to-1 works best for me in most applications, but it's something that you'll need to play with to find out for sure for you. And of course, I'm just brushing it down on a flat surface, and then I'll tip it up so you can see the sags. And it's important to watch because the Patina Gel does not eliminate the possibility of getting sags or runs. It's not what the gel is there for. It's there to help eliminate them, but you've got to take this special precaution. So when I brushed this on, it went very thick. And that's something to keep in mind. The thinner you can go as far as the coating, the less runs you'll get. So you'll see as this develops, you'll see the sags kind of show up, and it's still a lot less. We're not getting runs, we're getting a little bit of sagging. And so if we did the liquid Tiffany green, it would be vastly worse. Just runs all over the place. So we're going to seal this in with the clear guard and get it locked in. And as you can see, it's a little bit different than our traditional Tiffany. Usually we have a little bit more of that bluish green. Here we're getting a little bit more of that greenish green. But overall, that's something to keep in mind, that this Patina Gel will help eliminate those runs and sags. But you do need to go on a little bit thinner to help yourself as well. And here we have our final Tiffany green that's been Patina gelled. So here we're going to apply it on a vertical surface, just like we promised. So here we're going to roll it on, and I find that rolling really helps kind of eliminate the amount of material you put on. It just traditionally goes on a little bit thinner, and that will help make it so you have less sag. To help limit the runs, we also increased our Patina Gel ratio, so now it's 1 part Tiffany green to 1 part Patina Gel. And it's important to note that how you put it on really makes a difference. So brushing it on, I got a heavier coat. It was much thicker, so we had more sags. Rolling it on, we're going to have much less, but you can run into that risk of having roller marks. So play with it, find out what works best for you, but ultimately my advice is try and get it as thin as possible. And I always like my Tiffany green with a little bit of movement and some character, but if you're working on a vertical piece where you need black magic to be perfect, that's something to consider as well. But the amount of material you put on is a big difference, as well as the patina you use, right? So black magic we rinsed off. Makes it a little bit easier so you can eliminate those runs because it's not developing over the course of an hour. Whereas Tiffany green, as you can see, we're starting to get that development over, this is about 15 minutes later or so, and then we come in the next day and we have a much more vibrant finish. And we don't have a roller mark, but we do have a little bit of marking from that roller, right? So we have a little bit of texture, which to me I love a little bit of life to the patina. So here we have our final piece after clear guard, and then we're going to move into our sponging technique. Now, sponging I love, once again, a lot of character, a lot of texture, but it does go a little bit slower. So if you're doing an entire wall of this stuff, rolling is probably going to be your better bet. Whereas if you've got a little bit of time to play and get the texture just the way you want to, the sponging can be a lot of fun. And we're going to do a 1-to-1 ratio again, but overall the sponging gets you a little bit more character to it, in the sense that you can breathe life into this. You're taking your time, you can get it to look more what you want it to look like. And once again, this is down on a flat surface just because it's much easier. On these 6-inch squares that everyone loves to say that we can only do 6-inch squares, it's easier just because if we tried to do this laying up against the brick, it would be popping all over the place. So one of these days we'll do one of the bigger pieces, but for right now we have a 6-inch square here, and you can see we're starting to get a little bit of development, but with the sponging we get hardly any sag, but we do get heavy texture. And what's nice is we went thin enough to where we're actually getting kind of 2 different greens developing. So we get that nice blue, but we get that kind of green you would expect from light green as well. Here's our final piece, sponged on Tiffany green that was gelled 1-to-1. Patina Gel is available at www.sculptnouveau.com or by calling us at 760-432-8242. And just as a final thought, the Patina Gel is not designed to work on hot processes. This is only for cold traditional and birchwood products.